All right, here we are. We're in Montana. I knew that there was no way I was going to go to Montana in September and not bring my boat along. Owen is probably one of the youngest tournament anglers of all time, especially in Montana. He's been fishing tournaments with his dad since he was 8 years old. And these guys have been telling me over the last couple of years of all these other options in Montana other than Fort Peck for big walleyes. So there's a bunch of smaller reservoirs that these guys have caught giant walleyes out of. And I thought, what a great opportunity to get in the boat with Owen Wilcox, the Montana phenom, and see if we can catch some of these giant walleyes. So stay with us. I brought a bunch of glide baits and a little prototype bait from Berkeley that I've been working on. We're gonna go out on this little reservoir and see if we can catch some giant walleyes and show you guys the next bite.
One of the coolest parts about Montana reservoirs is the trout fishing that you can get in the exact same places as walleyes.
I don't know if I like trout or walleye better because trout move really, really fast.
Not many places across the country give you as many opportunities for both trout and walleyes on the exact same structure. Couple that with low fishing pressure, and no matter where you are in Montana, you have the opportunity to catch a lot of big fish.
Oh, come on. There you go.
There you go.
Nice. Oh, that thing cracked it. Shit's a different species. Oh, it's a trout.
Trout.
I don't know what you're going to catch him on. My biggest Montana trout is a rainbow. Okay, net it. Nice. Damn. Sick.
There we go.
Just nice bycatch. Rainbow trout. Wow. What a sweet bycatch.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of them up shallow there.
There was a little party going on there.
Oh, these things are so slippery.
Yeah. Slimy guys.
The Berkeley switch, twitching it. Yeah, thank you, Montana. They stock these lakes with a bunch of cool fish.
For sure.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people would probably want to eat that thing.
They do. The trout in here are very tasty. They're red meat, very good. There's a lot of freshwater salmon or freshwater shrimp in here. So
that's why they get so fat.
Oh yeah.
Well, your mom said she wanted walleye for dinner, so it's this guy's lucky day. We're gonna let him go.
I agree. Let's do it.
When many people think of Montana walleye, they think of Fort Peck Reservoir, and for good reason. It's got giant walleye and many other giant species. So what many people don't know is there's many other bodies of water around Montana, scattered around Montana, that are much smaller and much easier to find fish in. And I lived in Montana my whole life, and I can personally say that these reservoirs show. I've caught many, many giant walleye out of these small reservoirs. They're some of my favorite places to fish. And the next time you're in Montana, make sure you stop by one of these reservoirs and check it out yourself. It could surprise you.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury Marine, Go Boldly, Schaefer's Specialized Lubricant, Putting Equipment First, Nitro Boats, Performance Fishing Boats, Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Berkeley, your fish, our science. And Power Pole, Total Boat Control. Closed captioning for the next bite is provided by Precision Trolling Data, the authority for crankbait diving depth information. The small reservoirs in Montana are often overlooked when it comes to mapping. In September, like many lakes, the walleyes tend to move to deeper water. This water would be 20 to 40 feet deep near or at the bottom edge of steep breaks. Freshwater shrimp live on the bottom and give the fish an amazing deep water food source. You can use Sonar Chart Live to help find these areas.
So one of the cool things about small little reservoirs, especially in Montana, is they don't all have the advanced lake chips that I'm used to, especially being from Minnesota where everything has basically 1 foot contours. So I'm able to drive around and actually my side imaging, my 3-in-1 transducer is doing the work, and I can lay down my own contour map. So what I did right away was I just drove around on plane a little bit to mark up some of these points and little inside turns. And now I'm just side imaging it. I'm gonna add some waypoints where I see little rock piles, maybe lay some waypoints down in fish that I mark, and then we're gonna get going fishing. So I'll show you how to start your Sonar Chart Live on your Lowrance. It's really pretty simple. You just wanna activate the map screen, go to menu, go to overlay, and then hit Sonar Chart Live. When you hit that button, it'll start overlaying the map for you. So next time you're on a body of water, or even sometimes on your favorite spot, if you want to kind of refine what that spot actually looks like, make it as best it can, use the Sonar Chart Live from Lowrance. It is sweet. Oh, dude.
That's a big one.
Wow.
That's a good fish. Oh yeah. Here it comes.
Is that it?
Here we go.
Holy cow, that is a hog.
There we go.
Drop that out. I'm sorry, girl. You were sitting there napping and
Yes.
landed that thing literally inches from its face. And I saw it twirl just a split second, and then my line went slack, and I just like, I better set the hook. Man, that thing was solid when I set the hook on it. Literally didn't move at all.
Really? Oh yeah, you could tell by your rod he was not gonna move.
Wow, what a horse. Dude, you were right. There's some giants in here. There's just so many fish.
So many fish in here, they just have a buffet of fish to eat.
Yeah, they're not hungry all day, that's for sure.
For sure.
I'll take that one in bright skies though.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, let's get it back. All right, gonna get that thing back. Wow. What a giant. Angry.
Total Control, presented by Power Pole. 20 years of trust evolved from Total Boat Control.
I'm going to show you something really cool. My Power Pole charge unit, which charges all the batteries, is in this compartment. But what's really cool is the fact that I can communicate with it through an app. So the app comes up, the Sea Monster app comes up. You can see the status of all my batteries are green and good to go. So I could go fishing right now, no problems. But the big engine battery, the one that starts the big engine and runs my electronics, is down just a little bit. I noticed that. So let's go ahead and plug this in. Okay, I've got the charge unit plugged in. You can see the battery status has already changed. The trolling motor batteries here are in pretty good shape. This is just the maintenance amount of electricity that's going down, or amperage that's going down into those batteries. The main battery is getting more juice. You can see by these little arrows. The main battery is getting quite the charge. Now the thing that I like is, let's say if it's a really windy day and you're fishing and during the course of the day your batteries are wearing down, I can actually go to my big engine, turn it on, and the alternators of the engine are hooked into the charge unit. And so it'll act like it's a charger. It'll automatically start kicking amperage into the appropriate batteries to be able to keep them going. So by just keeping the engine idling, I can keep fishing for the rest of the day. That is really cool stuff. And it's something, now that I've experienced using the charge for a number of years, I would not be without it.
Not only do the small reservoirs of Montana provide big walleyes, but they also have tons of the perfect eater-sized walleyes.
Got him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Give that
Decent.
guy a break.
Decent one. Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Angry. Oh boy.
He hit it.
Active targeted it right up. It's a solid one.
Yeah.
It's a nice one.
Yeah. Oh. Damn.
Bam.
Little perky walleye.
Edible.
Yeah, for sure.
Man.
Saw him on the live and cast to him and he smoked it.
I like your call. I got him. Like,
I got him.
the one I was casting.
Yeah. All right.
Love
There
it.
you go.
Developing baits has become normal operating procedure of the Next Bite crew. The most important part of the process is the testing of baits on fish in as many different locations as possible.
When I was asked by my friends at Berkeley to help them develop a bait specifically made for forward-facing sonar, I was super excited. So in my mind, I wanted a bait that I could cast out. It was plenty heavy to cast. I wanted it to fall quickly, or I wanted to be able to guard the fall and have it fall slower. Really something I could take the temperature of each fish that I mark in front of me. So the Berkeley Power Switch is kind of a first of its kind. It's a pre-rigged soft plastic bait that has the stiffness to be able to have some of those glide bait characteristics. It's gonna come in 6 different sizes. So it's gonna go from 1 3/4 all the way up to the biggest one, this 5-inch one. So one of my favorite things about this bait is really the versatility. With that versatility kind of comes a lot of practice. You know, having an understanding of what each one of my rod motions does for the bait. So the cool thing about the weighting on this bait and the way that the line tie is, when you rip it, it actually vibrates like a blade bait. So it makes a blade bait noise. When you let it free fall, it meanders down to the bottom. The other thing that you can do with it is you can pop it on slack line, you know, a lot like we work a lot of glide baits, and that allows the bait to dart back and forth. You know, as the size gets bigger, it's going to carry that much more momentum, and you'll be able to see the thing, you know, especially in clear water. It'll dart back and forth as much as 3 or 4 feet. Another great action on this bait is simply, I call it the scurrying goby. So on the Great Lakes especially, where there's forage on the bottom, one of the classic ways to catch a walleye is to just turn the reel handle and then stop it and let it coast down to the bottom. So this bait has a cool little shimmy to it and a little tail wag. It actually wobbles almost like a shallow diving crankbait. So it'll wobble forward and then coast down. So I've had a lot of success doing that. Another cool thing you can do with this bait, especially on forward-facing sonar, is to really just pop it in place. So a lot of times when fish aren't super active, they're kind of in that neutral phase. The important part is to give that fish as many looks as you can at it. So especially with the 3 to 4 1/4 inch sizes, if you can just pop that thing in place, you can really kind of teeter-totter it right above the fish's head and wait for it to react, then maybe let it coast down past them to the bottoms. So I'll admit, this bait is new to me. I've been using it for maybe 1.5 years. I've caught every different fish species on it. But I do know one thing, when you start using the Berkeley switch, you're gonna have as much fun as I do, triggering fish, watching them bite, and realizing the versatility of this sweet new bait. Owen! You need a net on that one?
Maybe. You might need the net.
Ooh,
yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah. Comes. There you go. Yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
On the Berkeley switch prototype, seems like this this size one is, you know, a little big for, you know, these 16, 17 inchers, but when they go for it,
Yeah,
they
for
freaking
sure.
choke it, which is sweet.
Yeah, I felt him bite it. He smoked it.
Nice. Sure. I'm always looking for a lure that is way back in their
Yeah.
throat. Then it's like, you know, you get all that confidence in a bait, and then you throw it more, then you catch more, and it's kind of a avalanche effect.
Yep.
But we'll get that one back. I really find myself leaning on a glide bait, like the Johnny Darter, on pretty much any body of water I go to. You know, generally glide bait season starts kind of midsummer, and it definitely lasts right till ice up. One of the original ones is literally just let the bait hit bottom, pop it really hard, and let it free fall. You know, you don't feel a lot of those bites, but basically the #1 triggering characteristic of a glide bait is how fast it falls. It just activates fish. It's moving fast. They have to make a split-second decision.
One of the other things that I've learned that really catches fish is just a nice little slow walk. So letting the bait dart back and forth, a little bit of slack line, and really just kind of zigzagging through the water. Now, if I can look at the fish on my forward-facing sonar, it gets even more complex than that. What I like to do is I like to hold the bait above the fish. Generally, I'll do a couple little twitches above its head and just kind of wait until that fish reacts. The second I see that fish move, now I want to make it flee. So a lot of times I'll let it fall past the fish right away and wait for its reaction. If it dives down, maybe I'll go all the way to the bottom, give it a nice hard snap or a little short pop. If it doesn't react right away, I'll usually have a couple more twitches and then let it fall slowly past that fish. Now, the beauty of forward-facing sonar is you can make a repeated cast on the same fish until you really just kind of annoy them. Then their natural instinct takes over, and a lot of times they just have to chase that bait because it's so close to them. So next time you're out fishing with a glide bait, regardless of if you have forward-facing sonar or not, throw your bait out there, try a number of different things per cast, slow it down, speed it up, make it aggressive, and you're gonna catch a lot more fish.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Schaefer's Specialized Lubricant. Putting equipment first. Nitro Boats. Performance Fishing Boats. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Berkeley. Your fish, our science. Lowrance. The ultimate fishing system. And Power Pole. Total boat control. Hot topics, leading information and tackling techniques to make you a better angler. Presented by Mercury.
When it comes to small engines, there's nothing more important than running a good fuel through it. Here I have my duck boat, and this engine to me, I already know is only gonna be used maybe a month and a half or 2 months at most throughout the year, and the rest of the time it's gonna sit. And so I always run a premium gas through the engine, a no ethanol based fuel. Just really important to not have ethanol in there because ethanol breaks down in a short amount of period of time. Another thing to do is run a stabilizer treatment, this Nutra stabilizer treatment by Schaefer's. Not only is it a stabilizer that is going to stabilize that fuel for long periods of time, but it's also an injector cleaner and an engine fuel system cleaner in general. And so a lot of times, like I said, with these engines that aren't being used a lot, at the same time develop a lot of deposits through that course of storage. And so having a cleaner as well that can go through there and help break down some of those deposits that don't continually to grow on top of themselves year after year are very important. Now this small bottle here, this 12-ounce bottle will treat up to 20 gallons. And so it's not something that you're necessarily going to need a full bottle for everything you go through. And so to me, it's something you want to run all the time because at the end of the day, when it comes to snowblowers or even this engine here, I don't necessarily know when the last day I'm going to use it's going to be. So the last thing I want to do is be like, oh, I'm going to store this engine, but I don't have fuel stabilizer in it. I can put fuel stabilizer in the tank at that time, but that's only going to treat the fuel that's in the tank, not the fuel that go through the lines into the engine, which is probably the most important part. So running it all the time, especially with a stabilizer that also has an injector cleaner or an engine cleaner in it as well, is very important to do, especially engines that will be stored for long periods of time.
Fishing brand new bodies of water can be both frustrating and rewarding. With the use of today's electronics, it makes fishing these new bodies of water much easier. Combine that with brand new baits and hungry walleyes, and it's a perfect opportunity to catch a ton of both eater and trophy fish.
Oh, that's a nice one. Oh, yeah.
There you go. Finally. Oh yeah, that's a lot better.
Yeah, that's a good one. For sure.
Grab the net. Seems pretty good. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Net it. There we go. Nice. Wow, that is a hog.
Yeah.
That's one of the llamas of the ones we've been catching most of the day, but like any fishery, can't catch the big ones all day.
Exactly.
Nice. Wow, what a hog. That is a sweet build for a walleye. Apparently they don't bite all day. At least they haven't today, flat, calm, and sunny. But
yeah, definitely.
We're coming into sunset now. Actually, some of the higher fish we've been casting at all day. I've had some near misses, but this one finally got it and actually ended up getting it near the bottom. But all right, let's get this puppy back. Apparently the big ones are biting now. That is a sweet Montana walleye. Just gonna go eat some more stuff.
Pop on this tiny little orange perch.
I mean, oh, how dare that perch would eat one of his young. Nice color match though. Just chomp the Johnny Darter. Look at that. Would you look at it? Look at it.
I would, if someone was here, I would tell them to look at it.
Look at that. You look at that? Little guy.
Just a little guy.
A little guy. Oh, hold it up. There you go.
Graceful release.
Start back and forth. The heavier the sizes are, doing that. One of the other cool, versatile ways to work this bait and I guarantee you, you're gonna have as much fun as I have with the Berkeley Power Bait switch.